Welcome. Today we're going to be taking a look at ScandalOh. This is a 1 to 6 player hand management deduction card game coming soon to Kickstarter. In ScandalOh, you take the role of competing journalist trying to uncover a jaw-dropping scandal in a newspaper to publish the story. So you will be gaining information and asking for information, trying to become the best investigative journalist. How do you become the best investigative journalist and win the game? By being the first player to correctly uncover the celebrity, scandal, and the newspaper to publish the story. Now that we know what the winning condition is, let's take a look at the components, setup, and how gameplay works in ScandalOh. Now let's take a look at some of the components. Keep in mind that the Kickstarter for this game is coming soon, so all of these components are the prototype components. First, we have your inquiry board. This is where you'll place your inquiry tokens to indicate information that you are looking for. At the top are your locations. In the middle, you have your celebrities, and then your newspapers. And then at the bottom, you have your contacts. Next, we have your tracking sheets. At the top of the tracking sheet, you have your stories or scandals. There are 16 possible stories or scandals. At the top right corner of each story or scandal, you have the type. The red triangles are criminal, blue squares are professional, pink circles are personal, and purple diamonds are moral. Under each of the stories, you have the celebrities that could be involved in the story. And then to the left of each story or scandal, you have the resources required by the story. A fist is power, the brain is brain, the police hat is authority, the curtains are concealment, the skull is coercion, the glasses is cover, the handshake is partnerships, and the hearts are relationship. Beside each is a number 1 and a number 2, which indicate the 2 claims associated with each resource. These help determine which story or scandal is the correct one. In the middle of the tracking sheet, you have your celebrities and their connections. There are 5 different celebrities, and then there are contacts. The contacts have a lot of information in their name box that you will cross out or circle. Going down the left side of their box, you have newspaper indicators. These help determine which newspaper will publish the story or scandal. At the bottom, you have the celebrity connection. And then on the right are the resources that the contact can provide. And then celebrities and contacts are connected by their ties. These are the lines between names on your tracking sheet. And then at the bottom of your tracking sheet is the newspapers. There are 4 different newspapers. The numbers 1, 2, and 3 are the 3 possible claims that will point to the correct newspaper. Underneath that, you have the celebrities. These are the celebrities that the newspaper will publish stories about. And then next to the celebrities, these are the types that the newspaper will publish. Next, we have your player screens. On the left side of the player screen, you have an example of a game solution. In the middle of your player screen, you have a key that lets you know locations and what types of clues you can get from each location, along with the contacts for each resource. And then on the right side, you have an example of a celebrities network. Next, we have game cards. On the back of the card are the card numbers, and the color on the back of the card changes for each group of 50 cards. This helps you when you are setting up a game and putting the game back. On the front of the card, you have the clue. On the top left of the card, you have the card value. On the top right of the card, you have the card references. So this will indicate when someone asks about any of these items that you could offer this card. And then in the center of the card, you have the information that you are going to cross out on your tracking sheet. Inquiry tokens. These will help indicate what you are asking about on the inquiry board. Scandal solving tokens. You will use these each round to determine if you are ready to solve or not. Offer tokens. This is what you will use to determine the value of the cards that you're offering the active player. And then finally, the start player marker. Now let's take a look at the setup. We're going to be setting this up for a 3-player game, which takes 6 steps. Step 1, place your inquiry board and tokens. Place the inquiry board, 3 inquiry tokens, and the offer tokens in the center of the play area within reach of all the players. Step 2, get player components. Each player will receive a player screen, tracking sheet, and scandal solving token Keep in mind that you also need a writing utensil for this game. Step 3, choose a scandal. You will choose a scandal with a desired difficulty from the rulebook or the app. Step 4, collect, shuffle, and place cards. You will collect the cards indicated by the scandal that you chose, shuffle those cards, and then place them in the center of the play area. Step 5, deal a starting hand. You will deal each player 7 cards. Step 6, determine the start player. The start player will be the person who was the protagonist in the biggest scandal, or you could determine it randomly. Then you will give that player the start player marker. Now let's take a look at the gameplay. A game consists of a number of rounds until a player or players uncover the scandal, which means they have correctly solved the celebrity, story, and the newspaper to publish the story. A round. A round consists of player turns followed by a solution and discard phase. Players' turns consist of 3 phases: inquiry, offer, and exchange. The inquiry phase. You will state out loud and mark 3 references on the inquiry board with the inquiry tokens. This could be any combination of 3 with locations, celebrities, newspapers, or contacts. Once you have marked your 3, we move to the offer phase. During the offer phase, starting with the player to the right and going counterclockwise, players will choose a number of cards from their hand and place them face down with the total value and an offer token on top of the stack of cards. Once all the players have placed their offers, we move to the exchange phase. The active player will then choose whom to exchange cards with, which can be multiple players as long as they exchange greater than or equal to the offer number with the value number of the cards that they give them. If there are no offers, the active player would get to draw 3 cards from the top of the draw deck. Once the active player had a chance to exchange cards, their player turn is over, and then player turns will continue until all players have taken their turn. Then we would move to the solution phase. In the solution phase, you will choose if you want to uncover or solve the scandal or not. Players will cover their scandal solving tokens with the red side up if they want to continue, or the yellow side up if they're ready to unravel the scandal or solve the scandal. Then the players would reveal simultaneously. If a player chose the yellow side and are ready to solve or unravel the scandal, they would, on their tracking sheet, circle the story, celebrity, and newspaper, and then they would check their solution. If you're using the rulebook, if the player is wrong, then they are eliminated and their cards are publicly examined and placed in the revealed card pile and are out of the game. Then the solution phase would be repeated. If you're using the app, if a player guessed incorrectly, then they are not allowed to participate in the next solution phase. If no one guessed correctly and there are still players in the game, we would move to the discard phase. Players would discard down to 3 cards, placing their cards face down in a discard pile, pass the start player marker to the left, and then that player would deal 4 cards to each player. Keep in mind that when the draw deck runs out, you will shuffle the face down discard pile and create a new draw pile. When the new draw pile is created, you would draw 3 and reveal them face up as public knowledge and place them in the face up discard pile. And then we would be ready to start the next round. Then rounds would continue until a player has correctly unraveled or solved the scandal by choosing the correct story, celebrity, and newspaper that the story would be published, and that player is the best investigative journalist and wins ScandalOh.